breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty. Mornings on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.107 FM 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty. Okay, what I miss?
I don't know that you missed a whole lot. We didn't have a ruling from the state Supreme Court. They got the case by the Thursday deadline. They haven't decided whether they're going to hear it or not. I'm talking about the Henry Whitehorn, John Nicholson, Caddo Sheriff's race.
And I don't blame Henry for doing this. Obviously, I don't blame him. But don't say that. You know,
you won the election twice.
Well, yeah, that. But also, if you hadn't won, you'd be doing the same thing Nicholson was doing.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Don't say,
yeah, and he hadn't said that. Some of his people have.
Yes, some of his people have.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. You know, that side would be doing the same thing.
You bet, and
I don't fault either side.
Right.
Exactly, they should. So don't. Just go, this is what it is.
Right. It's a 1-vote margin. Whoever lost his challenge.
And discrepancies were proven in a court of law.
Which, you know what, Mike?
Not accusations.
Right.
They were proven in a court of law.
Absolutely.
So you can't validate the election.
The good thing about this is we might have things better in the future. We might be able to clean some things up.
At least have employees do their job.
Yes, exactly.
I think it was proven that protocol wasn't followed,
and there was no training for anybody in the registrar's office on how to do things. There was a lot of things.
Inexcusable.
Yeah, it really it's sad. Now, I did reach out to Kyle Ardoin, the Secretary of State, who can't say anything about the case yet. Once he leaves office, he might be able to, and he says he's probably very willing to. But he said, I asked him, "Are you moving forward with a March election?" I mean, because there's things you have to do to make sure it's on the ballot.
I thought that was a given.
And he told me, yes, he is moving forward as if this election will be on the ballot. Now, he'll hand it off to Nancy Landry when she takes over, and she'll move forward at that point.
Congratulations, Nancy.
I know. That's exciting. And I promoted Trosclair last week. I don't know, I had his name in my brain. But it's Landry who's taking over as Secretary of State. So Ardoin will pass it on to her, and she'll move forward with the election. And, they don't have to qualify. Qualifying wrapped up Friday for the March election, but these guys don't have to do that anymore. So they're moving forward. And as soon as the Supreme Court says they won't hear the case, if that's what happens, then we're back on. It's back on.
Okay, so what if the Supreme Court says they're going to hear the case? Does that mean the election will not take place?
No, they'll still move forward, because I expect the Supreme Court will have a ruling quickly. They'll take writs, and then they'll issue a ruling. I don't know that they'll have a hearing. They may just take writs on the case.
I just feel the Supreme Court won't take it.
I don't think they will either, but I don't know. I'm not in their brain.
No, I don't know either. As our friend Scott says, I'm not an attorney.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like the previous case, a precedent has been set. They've already heard a case similar.
But there will be those who say the previous case had not just election irregularities. It had, it had accusations of bribery and people literally buying votes that were proven. So it is a little bit of a different case.
Okay.
So, I don't know. We'll wait and see. And, the High Court may err on the side of let's air it out. Let's hear it. So there's no reason anybody can point back and say, y'all should have heard it. You should have done this. Kind of like in the Adrian Perkins case. A lot of people said the Supreme Court's not going to hear his case. He falsified documents, when he was qualifying. They said, no, we're going to hear it. And then they ruled in his favor. So that may be the case here. I don't know. We'll see.
When is a decision expected by the Supreme Court? Do we know?
Probably by the end of this week.
Okay.
Yeah, we're anticipating probably in the next couple of days. I would imagine, but I have some little birds that are talking to me down there, and they're expecting it within the next couple of days.
Okay.
So we shall see. I'm not sure. Oh, man.
What else?
Let's see. What else did you miss? Oh, we had a monster Christmas party. We all got $20,000 bonuses, and if you weren't here, you don't get it.
Son of a...
Didn't we, Reuben?
Of course. Right.
Of course that happened, yes.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, sorry.
No, don't be sorry. No, I'm kind of sorry it didn't.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think if there was anything. The Independence Bowl this weekend, they announced attendance of 33,000.
Did you see any of it? I wanted to go. I had tickets to the Independence Bowl, and I had tickets to the Shreveport Symphony Holiday Pops, and I couldn't go to either.
Oh, no.
Because we already had a party I could not get out of,
man.
Which we had a lovely time.
I loved watching the bowl game on TV.
We had the bowl game on.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, Shreveport looked good. The stadium, what a great kudos, Shreveport. Now, I know a lot of people came in from Texas Tech. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked good. I texted Missy and I said, you know what? Congratulations.
It looks awesome. It really did.
It really looked good.
It looked high class.
The field looked great.
Mm-hmm. Yep. To be the first bowl game of the year too was kind of cool.
I was real proud.
I was too.
Turned out really well.
It looked good. The presentation of Shreveport was awesome. When they showed that alligator they had grilled, I thought, oh, that's kind of cool.
Now I did get a text from a friend of mine who was there and said, the first time Texas Tech fired off their cannons, he said there were 4 shots from the neighborhood firing back.
No, that's bad. Don't do that. Not true.
I hope he was joking.
He was joking. Not true. Not true.
No.
So it's a big kudos. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think the scoreboard was still on when I drove by this morning.
There were a lot of lights on this morning, definitely, except on the freeway, but that's another subject.
I didn't notice.
Most of them are on.
Yeah,
there are some at Juella that are not. And I had warned them about that last week, that some at Juella are out, and they said they were on it.
But it still looked good.
It did.
The bulk of them were still on.
Yes.
It wasn't embarrassing.
No, it was not. It was not. And I'm happy. I'm real happy.
And I know people are like, well, it shouldn't take a big event to clean up our city. I understand that. But you still want to clean up when you clean the house when company's coming over.
Yeah, you put the dirty dishes in the oven.
We
put the dirty dishes in the oven. That's what we did.
Yeah. Well, then okay. Threw stuff in the closet.
Exactly.
Just shut up.
Don't look under the bed. There's all kind of crap under there. Oh, okay.
No, congratulations. It looked really good.
It really did.
It looked like it was a success. And thank you to Radiance Technologies.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, their support.
Mm-hmm.
What a great partner. I hope that continues.
They are. Yeah, me too. Absolutely. It's exciting to have a bowl game in our town. It really is.
Speaking of, Tim Fletcher has sports coming up next. Mike and McCarty. 101.7 FM, 710KEEL.com.
Back with more of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
I'm looking at the messages on the Shreveport Security Systems message board, and I'm sure you talked about crime.
We did, yes.
And I did hear a little bit, and there were people that are questioning the police department.
I know. And
they said Chief Raymond was fired because of the crime rate.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't fully it. It really wasn't. There were other things that went along with that. And I don't know what's going to happen.
The police department is a reactionary force.
Sure.
You can't call the police department and go, I need you to sit out in front of my house tonight from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Mm-mm.
That's not the job.
It's not what they do.
They can't sit on every corner.
Yeah. It's really, really difficult.
Chief Smith, I know, he told us. He's reached out to other agencies. They're looking for assistance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's open to ideas.
Yes.
And critical thinkers.
Right.
Do you have a better idea? Let us know.
Yeah, bring it. Now, we still don't know, is the mayor going to issue an emergency declaration? I was pretty certain he wasn't going to do it the week before the Independence Bowl. So now that he'll be back at the office today after the big festivities, Is he going to revisit that and kind of appease the council and sign an emergency declaration on crime? Or is he going to say, look, we've done, and he sent the council a memo, we put it at KEELnews.com, saying we've done everything you've asked us to do. The police department's doing everything we've asked to do. So I don't know whether or not
especially a department 200 officers down.
Yeah.
It makes their job just a little more difficult.
Oh, no doubt about it. And, they are putting some incentive pay. They did approve the budget, and that includes some incentive pay for recruiting. But you're still not up to the level of, where you have other officers. And I was talking to some officers Friday at an event for Operation Santa Claus, and they said, we can put 20 or 30 guys in our academy and maybe 10 finish, and then 6 of them go elsewhere. We keep 4. We've paid to train them, and now I think you have to promise to stay here for a little bit.
I was going to say, we should do like the military does. When you go through training, you need to commit for this amount of time.
I think they do have that for a certain amount of time, but then one of them was a young man, and he said, look, you go through this training, and if you're 21, and by the time you're 23 or whatever, you've given the 2 years you have to give here, and then you look across the state line, and you're making 35 or 40 here, and you can move to Longview or Tyler or Plano and make 75, and you're a 23-year-old single man? What do we expect of that guy? I mean, who's really going to say he's going to stay here?
Is the Longview Police Department paying that much better than Shreveport?
Some of them are. I don't know that it's Longview, but I know Plano is one of them. That's
I can understand Plano.
Money.
That's
And think about the calls in Plano, Texas.
Yeah.
You're not getting gang shootings. You're not getting,
Well, probably not the number that we see.
Right, exactly. You're getting break-ins, and you're getting, some domestics, and you're not getting anything like what we're getting here with the violent crime in a town like Plano, a wealthy suburb of Dallas.
And y'all made the point, which I thought was interesting. Nobody has come out and said, we have a gang problem in Shreveport.
Lavette Fuller did that last Friday. She did.
That's what I'm saying. I heard, yes.
She absolutely
you guys
did.
brought that out. And why isn't anybody saying this?
They need to. They need to address it head on. Get a gang task force, whatever you have to do. I'm not sure how we handled it in the 80s. We had the Jump Out Boys. We had a bunch of other initiatives. Redo some of that, perhaps. I don't know. And some of it we are. Some of it we are doing. We're just not announcing it. Because you don't want to tell the gangs what you're doing.
Sure.
You obviously don't want to tip them and say, here's what we're doing for you to catch you guys.
But if somebody knows, I go back to, if somebody knows, look, there's a gun in that house, they're probably going to think twice about, if a thug knows Shreveport Police Department has a unit that's going to come busting my door down. And take some proactive measures. Maybe
it will work. Maybe it won't. I'm not sure. Don't know.
Well, it couldn't hurt.
Yeah, we will see what the mayor does with regard to the emergency declaration. Don't know yet.
But I'm going to go back to, what does that give us that we don't already have?
I know.
What does that do that we can't already do?
And if it does, it perhaps opens up federal pipelines. Perhaps. I don't know that.
Well, we asked that of Councilman Jackson, and he couldn't answer that.
They don't know. We need to know. If you sign this, what does it do?
Right.
What extra does it give us? And if it doesn't give us anything extra, then it's just lip service and a PR stunt. Truth be known.
News is next. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.
Get back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty. When you go out, when you're like at a social event, whatever, do people just want to talk to you about what's going on?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Tell me the real story. What's the true story? What's the behind the scenes? They want the juicy gossip. And of course, I always have some.
Right.
I always give them a little tidbit.
It's just funny to me.
Yeah, and that'll happen all the time to you. Yeah. All the time. And it's okay. And I don't mind it at all.
No, I don't either.
Really
It was just curious. It's because I noticed a change in,
Yeah.
over the years.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, you're going to be the expert on all things that are happening.
Not an expert on anything, but
they will think you are.
I find that I did know, it's like, I can answer a lot of it.
I know. If I'd have told you 2 years ago, you would know who all the city council members are,
right?
And all the state rep. You'd go, no, never.
Because I listened to you guys for years,
yes.
and as well as some other things, but I didn't keep up,
right?
Like
with the minutia,
right?
Exactly. You'll know the overall story.
By the way. The other night, one of my friends said, I got a new voter registration card in the mail.
Oh.
He goes, I said, is it just a standard? He goes, I don't know why, And he goes, did you get one? I said, no, I haven't gotten one. Well, I got one Saturday.
Oh, did you?
And it said a new polling location.
Really? Mike Spence told me about that the other day.
But I'm still at the same polling location.
Okay.
But I wonder if they changed precincts.
Yeah, you might be at a different table.
That's what I was going to say. I may be going to a different table than I have been going to for years.
Mike did tell me the other day when I called him about this other deal, and he said, hey, I want to come on and explain to you the new precincts and how we're doing all that. So
okay, then there you go.
Yeah,
that's why I got the new voter registration card.
He wants to come on. I also got, and you don't know this about me, but I check my mail about every 2 months. And so things pile up in my mailbox.
Right.
Until my mail carrier says, you need to clean your mailbox out.
Right.
Or they send my stuff back. And I had a notice in my mailbox about Shreveport water there was some sort of contamination notice. I mean, it wasn't a boil order or boil advisory or anything. It just said we're required to send. Is that old?
Yeah, that's old.
That's real old?
That's way old.
Okay, I was curious. I was like, I'm hoping I'm not getting a new notice. Okay, good.
No, that was long, not a long time ago.
That's
but
how long I don't get my mail.
Girl, you must pay everything online.
Everything online,
okay.
Yeah. And I wish, like you can stop spam calls, supposedly. Supposedly, yeah.
Joey from Friends.
Yeah, supposedly. I wish you could stop the spam mail.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like I don't want to get all those brochures and those flyers.
That's the whole point.
I know that's how they make their money.
Right.
So I wish I could stop that. And I have noticed that the grocery store chains have kind of stopped sending those out.
Last night, my wife says, I need you to, she made a list. She goes, can you run up to Brookshire's? I got to, we got to get some things. Blah, blah. I said, okay. So now she's giving me this list and she says, okay. And she hands me a flyer. She goes, now here's the coupons. Get your phone. I went, wait, what? She goes, get your phone. And so there's a QR code.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to scan the QR and it had the picture of the coupons that we wanted.
Sure.
But when I scan the QR code, it goes to this, coupons. Aaron, there were 30 some odd pages with over 1,000 coupons on it.
Oh my gosh.
And the first 20, I kept scrolling. It was all toothpaste. I had to scroll. I said, I'm not doing this. I'm not scrolling 30 pages to find a cake mix that you save 30 cents on. I'm not, and I'm like,
waste of time.
That's what they want.
That's what they want. Yep. Because you'll find something else on that page that you go, oh, I need that too.
They don't just print coupons anymore.
Right. Nope, they don't.
You've got to scroll. I'm like, no. And she finally goes, you know what? Let me just do it. So I got out of going to the grocery store.
There you go. Good move. Good move.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
More breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Well, going back to the new voter registration card, I got the Go Vote app. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool because on the Go Vote app, not only does it tell you where you go vote and your precinct, mm-hmm. but it also you can go into my districts. And it tells you your congressional district.
Good.
Your Senate district, your police jury, I just can't say enough about this app. I'm really impressed with this.
They've done a good job. There's no doubt about it.
Not only what's on your ballot when you look for an upcoming election, but all this information that you need, what district you're in. So when you need to do some research, what's going on? Who's my representative? You have all that.
It's all there. I just hope they can find a way to fix all the voting problems. I really do. And I know we probably are going to need new laws. And Wednesday, by the way, we're going to have all 4 of the Shreveport senators here. Adam Bass, Alan Seabaugh, Thomas Presley, and Sam Jenkins. They're all going to be here. Do we need new laws with regard to voting? Because I heard in some of the testimony that the laws that are on the books now were written for a time when early voting wasn't a real big thing. It was absentee voting if you were going to be out of town, and you didn't have 7,000, 8,000 people voting early.
Well, we had I don't want to use the word accusations. That's a strong word of people, and there's one name in particular, going to, say, nursing homes and having residents sign their ballot, and then they fill out the rest.
Oh, my.
And we've had stories of that happening in the sheriff's race.
We need those folks prosecuted.
How do you govern that, though? How do you stop it?
I really don't know.
Unless you have a poll worker at every nursing home. I mean, how do you witness that?
Right, exactly. How do you say who voted?
That?
I'm not sure. If you have somebody that follows up, like maybe you follow up on, 10% of them and check back and go, I'm going to check 10% of these and see, is that how did you do your ballot? But see, you can't, the whole point of the balloting is that it's secret. So you can't, whoever's counting them can't know who you voted for.
Well, exactly.
But you can say, did you fill out this ballot?
But there has to be a reason for the affidavit flaps. Okay?
Yes.
And obviously, they weren't checked properly by the workers.
Right.
Once the mail-in ballots were received.
And
so a new law isn't going to help. Again, I hate to say incompetence, but I mean, that's what it is.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know how you solve that. I mean, I have personal knowledge of somebody who sent in a mail-in ballot and then who was told twice in the presidential elections, the last 2 of them, then was told you've already voted. And this person hadn't. This person sent in a mail-in ballot from out of state and was told you've already voted. So who voted for him?
Right.
Who sent in that ballot?
Wow.
And they obviously get the ballots from people who haven't voted in a while. And so they have those and how are they going to these other addresses? Are they going and picking them up? How's that happening?
Yeah.
And it's not, it's happened in my circle. And so I know it's happened in other people's circles. And it's kind of frightening, to be honest. The mail-in ballot situation, we've got to make some massive changes It's out of control.
In this process. It's way out of control.
It really is. Hopefully this sheriff's race will shine a spotlight on that.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Your Money Now, coming up next. Here.
Stories of the day with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
So LSU, I hate it when announcers do that.
LSU.
No, LSU. 11 a.m. is the bowl game on New Year's Day.
New Year's Day, 11 a.m. Wisconsin, right?
Yes.
Okay. And where are we? What game is it? It's
the ReliaQuest.
Okay. I'm not sure where is that?
Yes.
That's where it is.
In a stadium.
In a stadium. On a football field, right?
Yeah, on a football. Raymond James Stadium.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Tampa, isn't it?
In Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
Nice. So hopefully they'll have some good weather.
Yeah, I hope so.
At 11 a.m. Has it been announced yet? I have not heard whether or not any of the stars are going to be playing.
It's a good question, and I
don't think Jaden's announced yet. Now, here's the thing. He needs a few more yards, I think, to hit 5,000. I think, if my memory is correct. Also, I just went blank. Dadgummit, Malik Neighbors needs like 80 more yards to hit another mark, set a school record. So they may suit up and play the first quarter or so. In order to hit those marks, but then their agents may go, no, you're not playing.
Well, we've had this debate for years and years and years. If I'm Jaden's mama, sit your honey down. And see, and the same thing. If I'm that guy's agent and you're looking at a $50 million contract. Yes. And you might break a leg.
Your shoulder just went,
Yeah.
Drew Brees type injury.
In a bowl game that doesn't matter.
Right. So
and I hate to say that.
I do too, because I now see both sides of it. I hated it, and I resented these players that wouldn't play, and I was like, you need to support your team. Well, I kind of see that. Side of it.
I have to put myself in their mama's shoes. If mama's looking at Jaden Daniels and going,
I look at it like, let's look at the business end of it.
Well, I get that too, but mama is like
millions of dollars, and it affects more than just you.
Yes, absolutely. But mama is like, this is his dream. I want him to live his dream. And if one injury, oops, he's no longer an NFL prospect. Because everybody is saying Jaden's too small for the NFL.
Right.
So he's going to really have to.
I've been wondering about that for months. How is this? Yeah, my gosh, phenomenal for LSU. But how's that going to transfer into the NFL?
I'm not sure.
Welcome to the NFL, rookie.
Absolutely. You're going to get bumped
those defenses are bigger and faster and stronger.
You bet.
Than college.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
So that's... You're holding. I don't know who we're.
Jackie Lansdale is going to join us at 7:10. There's going to be a protest tomorrow over Caddo Parish school insurance changes, and I want to hear from her about it.
Coming up right after the local news. Fox News next, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Mike and McCarty on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline. Jackie Lansdale with Red River United talking about Caddo Parish School Board is set to change the insurance requirements. Jackie, tell us about what they're wanting to do and why you're not happy.
Well, let's start with this. Everybody always understands that insurance goes up. That's not the issue here. The issue is how much and how we got here. The insurance department has proposed to the board a whopping 15%, which will completely eat up any one-time money this year, much less the fact that there was no permanent pay raise at all. And we already have an insurance program where only 68% of employees can afford to be a part of it. So this is a big deal. I mean, it's what we would call a real bah humbug.
Right here before Christmas. Why do they wait so late in the year to do it?
Well, that's usually whenever they have what they consider open enrollment that begins February 1. But the problem with this is we started right so late. And once again, administration did ask for no input. This is the fourth time they've done something similar to this since COVID, and it's gotten to be a real pattern. But for this particular thing, there was absolutely no input from employees prior to bringing this to the board.
Now, the 15% increase would be on the deductibles and on the premium, and
the premium is 15% plus the deductible, and it varies. I mean, for some it's as much as $1,000. The main thing, as I said, nobody disputes, but how we got here is so egregious. Back in 2017. School employees, teachers and school employees received a 5% pay raise. Part of those pay raise monies came from insurance reserves. And there was instructions in 2019 to start adjusting the reserves as needed. That never happened. So here we go, all this time, and suddenly we show up and say, hey, time to do this, and without any look at all at what we've been doing in these last few years. And the problem is, and so it appears that because the reserves are low now, and you got it from the reserves, you're really, in all reality, asking teachers and school employees to pay back their pay raise.
We're talking with Jackie Lansdale, Red River United. Jackie, you guys have a protest scheduled in front of the school board office on Midway. What do you hope to accomplish?
Well, we've done our best to get them to listen to us about this. We have attended meetings, we've written, we have sent messages, we've met with people, and at this point, this protest is an important part of a democratic process. It allows the people that are involved, that are impacted, to express the concerns and their needs. And it also gets a message out to the public and for those that need to hear that message. So we feel like this is something that is necessary in order for not only the school board and the administration, but for the public to understand what's going on.
Now, you're calling for teachers to protest. Are these teachers that are supposed to be in the classrooms and are going to be on the protest?
No, sir. This is after school at the board meeting.
Okay.
I got a question for you. Are retirees about to be put out to pasture if the new deductibles are assessed?
Well, no, sir. No, there's nothing that says that at all. In fact, if anything, there's a big move to move retirees to Medicare Advantage. Now, that's their choice whether they do that. But that's the great hope of the insurance departments as they get that movement. Should tell you that already our insurance program is top-heavy retiree. And as you know, that's usually where you get the bulk of your claims. So we've got a real conundrum going on there. But impacting all employees to the point that we probably will lose more employees that can't be a part of the program is clearly not the answer. And I will also tell you, there was a trust fund created in 2008, and I would encourage you to look at it. It says it was for future post-employee expenses. Now, when I asked why, and right now it has supposedly $25 million in it. When I asked, why don't you use some of those funds to offset, because clearly post-employment would be retirees, I was told, no, we can't do that. Well, when we pull the record for the actual trust, yes, there is a provision for that. They don't want to. And the other part of that is, whenever you look at reserves and how much you're expected to keep in the reserves, we feel like that with a moderate adjustment, we can be okay. And then as the superintendent says, we're going to be right back here next year. So why do 15% right now? Why not? Let's all come to the table, look at other plans. Blue Cross Blue Shield says they're selling out, to a for-profit, and look at everything that we can and put it on the table and come up with a decision that's really a better fit for everybody involved.
There is some concern, too, Jackie, that, your health insurance is one of those benefits that attracts employees to a parish, and that when people are evaluating where they want to go teach or work, this plan could hurt that for Caddo. Worried about that, too?
Of course we are. We're worried not only for the current employee, we're worried for the retirees. We know what happened before whenever we've seen districts suffer like this. And, it is a huge, huge burden. And, again, we would just like administration to stop. They have time, come back to the table, and let's come up with a figure that everybody, retirees and the current employees and those that administer the plan can live with.
But you're running out of time if open enrollment is starting in February. Would you like them to just stay with what they have now and then look for the following year?
I would never tell the administration if they're in that dire straits to do that. Clearly, that's one option that they could look at, especially since Blue Cross Blue Shield is selling out and we're waiting for our new governor to make some decisions on that. Clearly, there's some things that could be done. There's the OGB, which is the Office of Group Benefits, which 44 parishes belong to that. We could look to move into that plan. There's just some options out there that have just been totally ignored. Come to the board, say this is what we're going to do. If employees complain, suddenly they're vilified. This has gotten to be a real tiresome pattern of behavior.
Are you a little worried, Jackie Lansdale, that this is a done deal already and y'all are just kind of, you're spitting in the wind?
No, I'm absolutely not worried about that because I have confidence in the teachers and school employees And I do believe that, we'll speak out about this. We've done this again. Like I said, we've had 4 battle royals on these type of behaviors. Now, am I going to say that was everybody came out unscathed on either side or both sides? That did not happen. But no, we won't lay down on this one.
Jackie Lansdale with Red River United. Thank you for your time. Good luck.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thanks.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and...
Back Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.107 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty. So we're thinking a decision from the state Supreme Court on the sheriff's election by this week.
Yeah, I expect it in the next 2 days is really when I do expect it. I'm not certain on that.
Today or tomorrow, then.
I really do. I would
think they would want to get this off their plate.
It's Christmas time. They want to go home for Christmas. And they don't want this hanging over them. They want to get, the holiday spirit going and decide if they're going to hear it, they're going to have to move. Right. We got to move and get it done. So if
the election in March,
right,
which is the Republican presidential primary,
and the Democrat. Not that there will be many Democratic contenders, but
the presidential primary,
right? And you're going to have the Democratic Central Committee. You're going to have the party elections happening for all those folks that serve in the party around the state. It's not going to be a huge turnout.
You don't think? I think Caddo Parish, I think this is going to be, I would be very surprised if this was a low turnout for Caddo Parish. I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, this might spark people that, took things for granted.
Absolutely.
How many people took it for granted?
Both sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both sides. Because there are people on Nicholson's camp that said, I didn't vote. I went to the LSU game.
Yeah.
He had a 10-point lead. I didn't think I had to.
Didn't think I needed to. Or I went hunting or whatever you did.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. That was a big deal. I did vote. I made a point of it.
Oh, absolutely.
And I went to the polls, took a picture, and went in, and because I wanted to make sure the voting things were not acting goofy like they were the time before in October.
A few elections ago, I went into the polls, and it was such a huge turnout. I took some pictures, just of the line, and I had one of the poll workers. You can't do that.
Oh, that's baloney.
I said, I think I can.
Yeah, you can.
No, you can't do that. So I didn't argue with her. I just put my phone away. I wasn't going to make a big scene, but I then did turn around later and make a phone call.
Yeah.
And say, and look, is it legal? Can I take a photograph at the polling place?
You can.
He says, absolutely you can.
Yes, you can. You can take one inside the booth. I do that all the time.
Right.
And especially people want to take a picture when they bring their little kids in there and they're showing them. They want to take a photo of it. I don't know how, you have a time limit in the booth, so they keep track of that, but I don't think you can take you can restrict
But then
pictures.
That again is where that Go Vote app is absolutely invaluable because you can get your ballot for your particular precinct. It's on the Go Vote app. Mm-hmm. You can make your selections before you even go.
Right.
Have your phone, go inside, and if you have to look at it, especially on the propositions. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the main thing. You know who you're going to vote for in a governor's race or for the sheriff's race or whatnot. But if there are propositions, you can prepare. You can study ahead of time.
Yes.
And know exactly what you're voting for. So you're in and out.
Now, Thursday, before we wrapped up the show, Scott Hughes had asked a question about whether or not the Secretary of State's office is preparing to have the sheriff's race on the March ballot, because he said there are some things that have to be done, to make sure it's going to be in the machines and it's going to be, on all the ballots that are going to be mailed out.
Right.
And so I asked Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin, I just sent him a text and I said, are you preparing to have the Caddo sheriff's race on the March ballot as we sit right now? And he replied to me, yes. And, of course, he will pass that off to Nancy Landry, who's going to be the incoming Secretary of State. and she will move forward with that. Now, if the state Supreme Court does decide to hear the case, and they should rule, and if they rule in Whitehorn's favor, then they can just stop that process and declare the high court would declare the election's over. But I don't anticipate that happening. I don't think they're actually going to hear the case.
I feel the same way. I think there two courts have made a decision. They've made the same decision.
Right. And if that happens, I'm going to just announce it right here. I will have a standing offer for Henry Whitehorn, John Nicholson. I'd like them to come in together. Mm-hmm. Let's come in together. We'll spend a full hour. We'll go back and forth. Let's see the differences in both men. And I'm hoping that Chief Whitehorn will agree to do that. I don't know that he will. I'll make the request and I'll make the offer, and and I'm not going to be any easier or harder on either one. You won't either.
Right.
We need to know what kind of sheriff you will be, each of you. And we'll see. And if Whitehorn decides not to, we'll have Nicholson. And we'll let you know.
We'll have 3 months after the first of the year to schedule this.
Absolutely. And the invite is open. It is wide open. Mm-hmm. And don't think I won't be sending him a weekly text. Hey, because I can be a pest. Yeah.
Love to hear from you.
A lot of folks know I can be a pest when I want to be.
Pest has news next. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.
Back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
We had a get-together that we had planned for a long time on Saturday night, so I wasn't able to go to the Independence Bowl. Wanted to go. I wanted to go.
Yeah.
We did have it on at the party.
Looked amazing.
It was awesome. Mm-hmm. There's some of these bowl games, and quite frankly, it's the Independence Bowl sometimes has been one where when they show the crowd, it's like, well, that's horrible.
Yeah, it looks good.
Some of these, even smaller than us bowl games, when they do. It's kind of funny because they try to keep the shots real tight on the field, because they don't want to show there's 200 people on the home side.
Right.
But it was not that way for us Saturday night.
No,
it looked really good.
They had an announced attendance of 33,000. I've had a lot of skeptics say, it wasn't 33,000, but paid seats 33,000. That's a good, decent number. We obviously would want it bigger, but Texas Tech in California, they brought a good crowd with them.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
We knew Texas Tech would be a good draw.
Absolutely.
That was a really good fit.
Absolutely. And it was Texas Tech, really dominated the game, but it was just to see all the local flavor, to see the things that some of these kids.
Did you see that alligator?
Oh.
The whole alligator?
That they served up? Yeah. I wondered when I saw that, when they showed it on the TV broadcast, I said, I wonder how many of those kids said, no thanks, no thanks.
Well, it didn't look like it had been cut into.
Oh, I'm sure they took a picture of it before it had been chopped all up.
Yeah.
You hear the announcers go, tasted like chicken.
Right.
I thought, I wonder how many of those kids actually took a bite of that. I'm curious. It was funny.
A lot of times I've heard reports and players that have come through here have generally said they actually enjoyed being here. They were treated very well. Mm-hmm. It was a great experience.
Right.
So, congratulations to Missy Setters and her staff over there at the Independence Bowl. Thank you to Radiance Technologies for their support. A great sponsor. Had
a big Mardi Gras parade Friday night at the boardwalk, and they had the Battle of the Marching Bands, which is always a big hit. It's just a week of events that's just so cool for our community.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're all resting today, like, we can breathe.
Well, when I came through early this morning, of course it's still dark. I think the scoreboard was still on.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
It's like I couldn't quite see, but
that's okay.
Yeah, Missy, you did us proud. Congratulations, and I hope the Radiance Technology partnership continues.
Yes.
And we just continue to grow from here.
Absolutely. It was a good year for our bowl game, no doubt.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.
Now breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
you ever gotten where you're on these, whether it's Instagram, the bane to me are these reels. Because when they figure out your algorithm that you like the funny dogs or the cats
or cooking ones
and I follow like the Dodo, which has these animals and these people that they'll see a dog at someplace and nobody can get to the dog, and they'll spend days and days working themselves and finally rescue the dog, and it's just like, oh my gosh.
I know, and there's a lot of dog stuff on all those social media. I saw something this weekend, and it's from our friend Sherry Talley Lemaire.
Oh, yeah.
Who used to be at Channel 3.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've known Sherry for years.
Put a post on Facebook that is just, at Christmas time, we need more stories like this. More heartwarming, the goodness of people that comes out. I guess she was out there with her husband and they perhaps taking pictures. I know she takes a lot of pictures. And they apparently spotted a beautiful white pelican out in one of the ponds. Then they didn't have a boat with them. I guess they were just, in their car and on foot. So
this is something that Sherry herself saw.
Sherry saw it, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the pelican it looked like it was attached to a tree. It couldn't get loose. It turns out it had a fish hook caught in its little paw. What's a bird paw?
A webbed foot?
Webbed foot, yeah, that. And it couldn't get loose from the tree. Apparently the line from the fish hook was wrapped around the tree.
It was like a trot line or something, I guess.
Yeah, and it got hooked in the foot of this beautiful white pelican. And so they called in Wildlife and Fisheries. They called in Tara Thomas, who is an animal rescue type person. And she came out with a cage because they're thinking this animal may need, medical treatment. So we'll cage it, take it to a doctor. Well, wildlife agents, Huck and Myers. I know I'm not saying the first name, one of the names right, but they came out with a boat. They brought a boat out, put it in the water. They paddle out to where the bird was. Of course, the bird's freaking out.
Right, yeah, sure.
And they managed to get the bird up into the boat and get the hook out. And
see, I love stuff like that.
And the bird flew off.
Yeah.
It is just, and you can see the pictures and the story is at KEELnews.com. It's just an amazing story because I spent about a good hour out at Bickham-Dixon Park about 6 or 8 months ago just taking pictures because it is so beautiful, so beautiful. And you can see some of those pictures. But this pelican is a gorgeous bird. And if not for these folks who decided they were going to spend their afternoon saving it, this bird would have died.
Right.
And would have never recovered. Now this bird is off and, might have
living its best bird life.
Yeah. With its little paws and healing up.
Some of the videos, I love the fact, like, a deer can kill a man.
Oh,
a deer,
you bet.
If they can kill a man. Mm-hmm. But like I've seen some where they're trapped into a fence and they can't get loose.
Oh, they freak out.
But what's so cool is some of these animals, it's like, okay, you're trying to help me. And they don't attack, and they're just waiting on the person to get them. It's just really cool. I love stories like this.
It really is, and you can see the bird actually in the lap of, I think it's Sherry's husband, or maybe it's one of the wildlife agents. The bird is in the lap of him as he's trying to get the hook out of the what do you call it again? Not the paw.
It's a webbed foot.
Webbed foot.
Yeah, webbed.
And it is just, that bird is freaking out, but they did what they had to do. Thank you all. If you're listening or if you know any of these people, tell them thanks. They did an amazing job. It's just a great Christmas story that has nothing to do with Christmas, but it's the good-heartedness of the time of year that I just love so much.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.
Back with McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
talked about the Independence Bowl looking great. Field looked good, too, by the way. Just an FYI. The field looked really good. LSU and the ReliaQuest Bowl, New Year's Day.
Okay.
And it's an 11 a.m. game. I don't like the earlier when they're at home. But I think a bowl game at 11 a.m. on New Year's Day, I think that's a good time.
That's a good time, except for everybody who was out partying that night, and they're sleeping till noon.
I don't know.
But that won't be me.
I don't know. We don't go out. No.
Not a good plan for me. No, not anymore. I might, would I stay up till midnight and ring it if I was at a party or something? But I'm not going to be drinking. I'm not going to be hooting and howling.
We have my wife and I, we kind of, I hate to say traditions because it's not like, but like we watch Holiday Inn every year at Christmas.
Okay.
Love Holiday Inn. And on New Year's, our movie is When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, I just watched that.
That's our New Year's movie.
That's a good movie.
And then we have to get in Sleepless in Seattle at some point. Mm-hmm. The Holiday Inn course. When my sister comes, we have to watch Christmas Vacation.
Right.
And so
we found a new list, by the way, since the last time you and I spoke. The favorite Christmas movie for Louisiana is not this Christmas. We found the updated list.
Okay.
And the favorite Christmas, I can't even say it out loud. The favorite movie in Louisiana.
I think I heard you.
Violent Night.
That's dumb. Who are they polling? That's stupid.
They were researching. They did it based on Google searches. We are searching for the movie Violent Night, which is from a movie from last year?
Yeah.
Isn't it on like Netflix now, or am I thinking something else?
I think so. But it's got that David Harbour guy.
Okay, that's the one. Yeah.
And John Leguizamo.
Whatever happened to him since Son of Sam?
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
Yeah.
I think it wasn't called that. It was Summer of 72 or something.
It looks like he's doing the horror movie circuit now because he was in The Menu that I made Aaron watch not long ago and deeply disturbed her.
It was disturbing. It was very disturbing.
I want to go back to Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah. When Harry Met Sally.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to have what she's having.
I'm already thinking of New Year's movies. Now, New Year's movies, there are movies that you can start at a certain time and then something will happen like at midnight, like Ghostbusters 2. If you started at 10:38, Vinkman will say Happy New Year's at midnight. And if you start Back to the Future at 10:19, Marty returns to 1985 in the DeLorean at midnight. And there's a huge list of these.
Remember if you started Wizard of Oz, and then if you started Pink Floyd, I think Dark Side of the Moon, right at the movie studio logo as the lion was roaring, the album synced perfectly
with Dark Side of Oz
with the film.
Yeah.
I've never done it, but I thought that was very interesting.
That's cool. That really is cool. And bizarre, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, really, The Wizard of Oz is pretty bizarre.
Yeah, you got a point.
I love the movie.
Yes.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline from LSU's Political Science. Dr. Jeffrey Sato joining us. Dr. Sato, good morning. Thanks for taking the time here to talk with us.
Yeah, sure.
This is an interesting article that you've got on the Hayride. You're basically calling out the Shreveport City Council, saying that they want Mayor Arsenault to fail. Tell us what you mean by this.
Yeah, this goes to the budget that was discussed last week. The original plan that Mayor Arsenault had submitted had mainly some revenue-enhancing measures. Of course, that always means increases in something, taxes or fees. In this case, fees for water and sewage, as well as solid waste pickup. And then some, you can consider them cuts, basically not keeping unfilled positions in the budget. It was really kind of more bookkeeping than anything else, because what the Arsenault administration said was, we're not going to have these on there, but if we start hiring people to face these shortages, well, then we can always appropriate some money later. But these were there to be able to make up the large quote deficits that the city was running over the last couple of years, and the city council got rid of these things. So
they eliminated the $3 monthly solid waste charge, and they're holding off on hiring positions. Is that correct?
Yeah, and then a 20% hike contemplated in water and sewerage. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, the thing in doing that, obviously they created a gap that would have to be, I guess, not filled now. The thing is, the city's been running large deficits. I think around last couple of years, $50 million into reserves in order to basically pay off debt, and largely connected to the consent decree that the city faces with water and sewerage. So Arsenault wanted to stop the erosion of that, and he wanted to actually start to fill it back again, but he was thwarted by the Democratic majority on the city council.
You're saying this is essentially kicking the can down the road, and that I think your words were fiscal doom is ahead, or something to that effect. We're not in good financial shape. I mean, if we didn't have that ARP money sitting there, we would have very limited reserves, correct?
Yeah, that gave everybody a boost, and not just in terms of dollars coming into the city, but in the economic activity that it stimulated. And of course, that's all going away. So that's going to be problematic. And the thing is, again, this erosion happened right in the middle of all that. So yeah, you're right. It would have been really, really bad if it hadn't been for that debt-fueled lifeline.
So council members could say they're trying to save money, but you say this is partisan politics.
Well, certainly Democrats don't have any incentive really to see Arsenault succeed in putting the city on a more stable financial footing. Now, of course, it'd be a good thing for the city if that happened, but obviously these things are to some people would be not terribly popular. I mean, nobody likes to see their rates go up 20% and pay extra every month for their garbage pickup. So, certainly you could look at it in terms of, we're not inflicting these extra higher charges on people. At the same time, though, there are fiscal problems, and maybe it looks good for you as a council member to not inflict these on the voting public. At the same time, you are in fact kicking the can down the road, and it does certainly thwart the efforts that Mayor Arsenault is trying to fix the problem, and that's something that probably a number of members, some members on the council and among local party activists, they wouldn't mind seeing Arsenault fail.
Doc, the another underlying subject here is the proposed bond issue that could be on the March ballot. Do you feel like these council members are dooming it by some of the things they're doing?
I'm not sure about that at this point. I mean, certainly, you're asking a huge sum of money to be approved. Of course, it's not something that paid for it all at once, but it's certainly that's something that it might be a spillover effect. Sure, I mean, if you're talking about these kinds of measures, and then if you want to be consistent, say, well, we don't want to do more of this by having these kinds of things pass. Again, though, it's hard to tell because there's some things on the list that are kind of eternal, and it seems that the city's been wanting to get around. Some other things maybe not so necessary. I'm not quite sure how they're going to play it at this point.
There's a quote in your article that says, and I'm going to read directly from it because it really is interesting, making him, Arsenault, appear as a failure in time for the 28 election makes it easier for the more ambitious among them, the council members you're referring to take his place in what appears to be a golden opportunity for a black Democrat politician. It looks like that's the root of what you see as part of the problem. You agree? You stress that?
Yeah, I think politics is involved in this. Basically right after the election results were known, there must have been a number of politicians in the city eligible to be mayor who thought, well, this is a fluke, and in 4 years, chances are pretty good for somebody like me to be able to run and win against this incumbent. And so
we doom him to failure?
I don't think they want to do him any favors. Let me put it that way. And again, it's kind of an easier choice when you can turn around and say to the public, voting public, that, well, I'm saving you from 20% rate hikes, saving you from extra charges on your garbage. It's easy to do it that way. It's just easy to make that decision and at the same time achieve this other objective of position yourself better at somebody else's expense for your political future.
We're talking with Dr. Jeffrey Sato for Louisiana State University Public. Now you've thrown off my political science professor. You've got a statement in this article, Dr. Sato, this is just disturbing. That says Democrat partisans loathe the idea that a white Republican serves as mayor over their black majority and Democrat plurality city.
Yeah,
that's a strong statement.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a few out there that basically thinking this is not the constituency for a Republican, a white Republican, to be mayor. We are a majority black city. Democrats in the plurality. This is ours. That we should be running this city, and so I'm afraid they're thinking like that. And certainly you look at some of the things that have gone on the council and controversy, for example, over the clerkship of the council, where there was racial overtones to that. I think there are people that are thinking that way in the council.
So what do you think the solution would be then?
I don't know. For Arsenault, the numbers are against him. He's consistently, most of the time, has 5 votes against him, and that's enough to override any veto. So, he just has to pitch stuff out there and hope he can convince at least a couple of the opposition to go forward. If not, and if a veto is involved, then he has to convince 3 not to additional not to override it. So, that's just the reality in the numbers, and that's just what he's up against.
One last thing, a different subject completely. The sheriff's race. We're waiting on the state Supreme Court to decide if they're going to hear it. Do you think they will?
Probably not. You look back at the Atkins v. Huckabee case almost a quarter century ago. It's a very similar case. The court decided that there should be a new election in that, and I don't know that anything's happened since then that would change their minds. And so the similar case comes up, and they say, well, we've dealt with this, and so I don't think they're even going to hear it, and so that means a new election come March 24th.
Pretty historic, yeah. Thank you for your time.
Dr. Jeffrey Sato, thank you so much, sir. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike.
Let's get back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Well, I can tell you what I won't be doing later today.
What's that?
Watching Governor Edwards' end-of-the-year press conference.
Oh, is he having his last one?
It's, set for today.
Okay.
Only thing I want to hear him say is, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, yeah. He said last week he signed the desk Lots of governors before him have signed the desk where they sit.
I think it's like the drawer, the bottom of a drawer or something.
Yeah, and then he's leaving a note for Jeff Landry, and he said a nice note. He said previous governors have done that.
Yeah,
I would love to see those notes. Like, what did Edwin Edwards say to his successor, and that sort of thing. What did Bobby Jindal leave for John Bell? Good luck, you crazy nut.
Was Jindal? Bell came in after Jindal?
Yeah. 8 years ago was Jindal, I believe. Yeah.
Good gosh, that seems like it was a lot longer.
And then they blamed the fiscal cliff on Jindal, that he raided all the funds and that caused the cliff.
I really liked Jindal. Mm-hmm. When you listened to him, I mean, he seemed so intelligent and so.
He was. He really was. He did some things that were not good for the state, though. I mean, there'll be a lot of people that'll say that.
I understand. You're right.
But we're now headed in a new direction, and I'm excited about Wednesday because we have a monster show Wednesday morning.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad I'll be here.
Yeah, we're going to have all four of the senators that represent our area: Sam Jenkins, Alan Seabaugh, Thomas Presley, and Adam Bass. They're all new to the Senate. Now, they're not freshmen.
No, not at all. Of course.
Adam Bass is, but the rest of them have all been,
Seabaugh's been down there for a long time.
Long time, absolutely. And so, a lot of priorities we got to talk to them about. Our roads, our education, insurance crisis.
What kind of biscuit they're going to bring in when they come in to see us?
They're bringing donuts, I'm told. I'm hoping they're bringing donuts. We'll see. I'm not sure. But, I'm excited. We have a nice big new studio. We'll accommodate all of them. And if you want to ask them questions, don't wait until Wednesday. Send them now on the Shreveport Security Systems message board.
Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Now more breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Big changes proposed for Caddo and Bossier Parish School, Caddo Parish School Insurance. Jackie Lansdale from Red River United joining us coming up right after the break, talking about why they're not happy. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710keel.com.
Stories of the day with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
FM 710 KEEL. Mike and McCarty on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline. Jackie Lansdale with Red River United talking about Caddo Parish School Board is set to change the insurance requirements. Jackie, tell us about what they're wanting to do and why you're not happy.
Well, let's start with this. Everybody always understands that insurance goes up. That's not the issue here. The issue is how much and how we got here. The insurance department has proposed to the board a whopping 15%, which will completely eat up any one-time money this year, much less the fact that there was no permanent pay raise at all. And we already have an insurance program where only 68% of employees can afford to be a part of it. So this is a big deal. I mean, it's what we would call a real bah humbug.
Mm-hmm. Right here before Christmas. Why do they wait so late in the year to do it?
Well, that's usually whenever they have what they consider open enrollment that begins February 1. Mm-hmm. But the problem with this is we started right so late. And once again, administration did ask for no input. This is the fourth time they've done something similar to this since COVID. And it's gotten to be a real pattern. But for this particular thing, there was absolutely no input from employees prior to bringing this to the board.
Now, the 15% increase would be on the deductibles and on the premium, and
the premium is 15% plus the deductible, and it varies. I mean, for some it's as much as $1,000. The main thing, as I said, nobody disputes, but how we got here is so egregious. Back in 2017. School employees, teachers and school employees received a 5% pay raise. Part of those pay raise monies came from insurance reserves. And there was instructions then in 2019 to start adjusting the reserves as needed. That never happened. So here we go, all this time, and suddenly we show up and say, hey, time to do this, and without any look at all at what we've been doing in these last few years. And the problem is, and so it appears that because the reserves are low now, and you got it from the reserves, you're really, in all reality, asking teachers and school employees to pay back their pay raise.
We're talking with Jackie Lansdale, Red River United. Jackie, you guys have a protest scheduled in front of the school board office on Midway. What do you hope to accomplish?
Well, we've done our best to get them to listen to us about this. We have attended meetings, we've written, we have sent messages, we've met with people, and at this point, this protest is an important part of a democratic process. It allows the people that are involved, that are impacted, to express the concerns and their needs. And it also gets a message out to the public and for those that need to hear that message. So we feel like this is something that is necessary in order for not only the school board and the administration, but for the public to understand what's going on.
Now, you're calling for teachers to protest. Are these teachers that are supposed to be in the classrooms and are going to be on the protest?
No, sir. This is after school at the board meeting.
Okay.
I got a question for you. Are retirees about to be put out to pasture if the new deductibles are assessed?
Well, no, there's nothing that says that at all. In fact, if anything, there's a big move to move retirees to Medicare Advantage. Now, that's their choice whether they do that. But that's the great hope of the insurance departments is they get that movement. Should tell you that already our insurance program is top-heavy retiree. And as you know, that's usually where you get the bulk of your claims. So we've got a real conundrum going on there. But impacting all employees to the point that we probably will lose more employees that can't be a part of the program is clearly not the answer. And I will also tell you, there was a trust fund created in 2008, and I would encourage you to look at it. It says it was for future post-employee expenses. Now, when I asked why, and right now it has supposedly $25 million in it. When I asked, why don't you use some of those funds to offset, because clearly post-employment would be retirees, I was told, no, we can't do that. Well, when we pull the record for the actual trust, yes, there is a provision for that. They don't want to. And the other part of that is, whenever you look at reserves and how much you're expected to keep in the reserves, we feel like that with a moderate adjustment, we can be okay. And then as the superintendent says, we're going to be right back here next year. So why do 15% right now? Why not? Let's all come to the table, look at other plans. Blue Cross Blue Shield says they're selling out, to a for-profit, and look at everything that we can and put it on the table and come up with a decision that's really a better fit for everybody involved.
There is some concern, too, Jackie, that, your health insurance is one of those benefits that attracts employees to a parish, and that when people are evaluating where they want to go teach or work, this plan could hurt that for Caddo. Worried about that, too?
Of course we are. We're worried not only for the current employee, we're worried for the retirees. We know what happened before whenever we've seen districts suffer like this. And, it is a huge, huge burden. And, again, we would just like administration to stop. They have time, come back to the table, and let's come up with a figure that everybody, retirees and the current employees and those that administer the plan can live with.
But you're running out of time if open enrollment is starting in February. Would you like them to just stay with what they have now and then look for the following year?
Certainly, I would never tell the administration if they're in that dire straits to do that. Clearly, that's one option that they could look at, especially since Blue Cross Blue Shield is selling out and we're waiting for our new governor to make some decisions on that. Clearly, there's some things that could be done. There's the OGB, which is the Office of Group Benefits, which 44 parishes belong to that. We could look to move into that plan. There's just some options out there that have just been totally ignored. Come to the board, say this is what we're going to do. If employees complain, suddenly they're vilified. This has gotten to be a real tiresome pattern of behavior.
Are you a little worried, Jackie Lansdale, that this is a done deal already and y'all are just kind of, you're spitting in the wind?
No, I'm absolutely not worried about that because I have confidence in the teachers and school employees, and I do believe that, we'll speak out about this. We've done this again. Like I said, we've had 4 battle royals on these type of behaviors. Now, am I going to say that was everybody came out unscathed on either side or both sides? That did not happen. But no, we won't lay down on this one.
Jackie Lansdale with Red River United. Thank you for your time. Good luck.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thanks.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
You better hush up over there. Did you hear that, Reuben? Okay, thank you.
You didn't hear what I said, did you?
Okay, good. Whew,
you have to be careful, though. You do have to be careful.
You do. Are you done Christmas shopping? Have you finished? Reuben's finished in September, which is disgusting.
You know what? I pretty much am.
You kind of have to be. It's a week away.
No, but I'm not finished.
You're not?
I'm not finished. No.
Uh-oh.
I found. Well, I don't even want to say it because I don't want her to know. But my wife, my wife is not a spend money person.
No.
I told you, I got her a tennis bracelet for our 10th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a nice.
Right. Sure.
Take it back.
That's
too much money. So she's not, if you send flowers, no, that's a waste of money.
Oh gosh. So no flowers.
So no
jewelry.
Now, what I usually do, and I think I've said before, I'll buy a live rose bush.
Yes.
And then plant that.
Yeah, a lot of women don't like cut flowers anymore. They want a potted plant.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll buy a live
plant. Yeah.
Now the best thing I ever did was I went we were selling her mom's house after her mom passed.
Mm-hmm.
There was a rose bush in her mom's yard.
Yeah.
And I went and dug up that rose bush.
And took it to your house.
And brought it home.
Now,
for Mother's Day.
That's a great deal. Do you already know what she's getting you, or will there be a surprise that you don't know about?
We're not. And that's what I was going to say. She's not a big. We were a couple weeks ago over in Dallas with our daughter, and we went to Costco.
Mm-hmm.
And she found a Bose Bluetooth speaker.
Okay.
And she says, "This is my Christmas. Buy this for me."
Okay.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
This is my and if I were to do something, it would actually upset her.
Would it really?
Yeah. She's like, "No, I told you I didn't want anything."
So you bought that already.
So I got that. So she's been enjoying that already.
So she's already using it.
Yeah.
But there'll be nothing else under the tree for her.
I'm not going to say that.
So you're going to get in trouble. So you couldn't do that.
I'd rather get in trouble for that than
nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, have you told her, here's what I want, here's my list and my 3 items, and she just surprises you?
It's not. Yeah, but it's not. It's.
Is she good at it? I mean, she's going to get you something you love. I'm sure
honestly,
she will.
Aaron, in her defense, I get what I want.
When you want something, you go buy it.
Year. Yeah.
So you're hard to shop for.
I'm probably, yeah.
She's not going to have that new motorcycle under the tree for you. That's not going to happen, huh?
No. Now, if she tells me, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, done?
Yeah, baby. Yeah. And it's not even new. It's a used one that I want. There's got one. I don't even want to say where and when or what because I don't want somebody to go, really? Let me look at that.
I'm curious.
Leave my bike alone.
Let me ask you.
I'm trying to sell my Valkyrie right now.
All right.
And then when if I can get my Valkyrie sold, which is, by the way, a perfect bike, then I'll use that toward the Indian that I want.
Pull out your long married card, please. Because I want
40 years.
Yeah. Is there ever a time when someone who's been married as long as you have to go out and buy clothes for your spouse?
Sure, yeah.
Maybe. Would you ever think to go buy something, clothing for your wife?
Only if it were like a a sweater or something. Not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just, I'm not going to go buy her jeans or buy her,
Right.
you know.
Pajamas only for me.
Pajamas only.
Yeah,
And then you buy small. You always buy small. These are too little. Oh, well, I thought these would fit you.
Yeah, don't buy extra large.
Actually,
if she's
honestly,
a medium,
though, honestly, though, when I'm folding clothes, I hold up her. It's like they're like this big.
Oh, I know.
Tiny.
She's tiny. I know. She is tiny. Well, I hope you get
Her
everything
scrubs,
you want. Yeah.
Her scrubs. The pants are like, if they were men's, you know, they'd be like an 18 waist or something. I don't know. They seem tiny to me.
Oh, that's funny. That's
and then
funny.
you hold up mine. I was like, oh my God.
Well, you better get out there and get the rest of your shopping done. You only got a week left.
That's crazy.
1 week.
Aaron, that's crazy.
I know. Cannot believe it.
It's good to be back. Thank you to Scott in Lavette last week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have next later this week?
I think Scott's coming in this week.
Okay.
I think that's the plan. We shall see.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.